The moment you open your eyes each morning, a silent decision has already been made. Not by the world, not by circumstances, but by the thoughts you allow to speak first. Before your feet touch the ground, before the noise of the day rushes in, your mind whispers a story about who you are, what you deserve, and what is possible for you. That story is not harmless. It is not neutral. It is a command. And whether you realize it or not, your entire life has been obeying it. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your belief. Every failure, every breakthrough, every repetition of the same year lived over and over again wears the fingerprint of belief. This is not philosophy meant to sound good. This is law. Invisible, silent, absolute. The same law that turned a deaf printer named Thomas Edison into the man who bent darkness itself to his will. The same law that allowed a poor farm boy named Henry Ford to envision assembly lines before the world could imagine automobiles filling streets. They were not gifted by luck. They were possessed by belief so strong it drowned out doubt. The tragedy is not that people fail. The tragedy is that most people never decide what to believe about themselves. They inherit beliefs like old clothes, worn, limiting, stitched together by fear, handed down by parents who meant well, teachers who played safe, societies that reward obedience more than vision. And then they call those borrowed limits reality. Reality is not what you see. Reality is what you repeatedly think until it hardens into fact. Your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed. Neglect it, and weeds grow without permission. Tend it with intention, and it becomes a force that feeds generations. Most people live as if their minds belong to the world. News, opinions, comparisons, failures replayed on a loop. They let the outer world dictate the inner voice. And then they wonder why they feel powerless. You cannot expect dominion over life when you have surrendered command over your own thinking. Napoleon Hill understood this when he studied the titans of industry, not to copy their tactics, but to decode their thinking. He saw a pattern more consistent than talent, education, or background. Those who rose did so because they believed with intensity, clarity, and persistence long before evidence appeared. They held an image in the mind so vivid that reality eventually had no choice but to conform. Belief is not wishful thinking. Belief is disciplined imagination reinforced by action. Look closely at your own life. The boundaries you claim are fixed. Are they facts, or are they beliefs repeated so often they feel immovable? Poverty is not only an empty bank account. It is a mindset trained to expect less, to aim low, to explain away potential with excuses dressed as logic. Wealth, on the other hand, begins long before money appears. It begins the moment a person decides that limitation is unacceptable, that mediocrity is not destiny, that the mind will no longer be a prisoner to fear. Control your mind, or it will control you. This is not a warning. It is a description of how life works. Every emotion you feel has a thought behind it. Every habit you repeat was once a belief you accepted. Every result you live with today was imagined, consciously or unconsciously, yesterday. If you do not choose your thoughts, the world will choose them for you, and the world is not invested in your greatness. Clarity is the first act of power. A drifting mind produces a drifting life. This is why most people remain stuck, not because they lack ability, but because they lack definiteness of purpose. They want success, but they have never defined what success demands of them daily. They want freedom, but they negotiate with comfort. A clear mind is dangerous because it refuses distraction. It knows where it is going, and it is willing to pay the price. Belief alone is not enough if it remains abstract. Belief must crystallize into vision. Vision is belief with direction. When Walt Disney was bankrupt, mocked, and dismissed, he carried an entire world in his mind that no one else could see. That unseen world became Disneyland. The vision preceded the evidence, always. If you wait for proof before believing, you will wait forever. The mind must move first. Reality follows. Discipline is belief made visible. Anyone can feel inspired for a moment. Discipline is what you do when inspiration is silent. It is the quiet agreement you make with your future self to act even when comfort begs you to stop. Every disciplined action tells the subconscious mind, "This is who I am now." And the mind, obedient servant that it is, reshapes identity to match behavior. Purpose fuels discipline. Without purpose, effort feels heavy. With purpose, sacrifice becomes meaningful. Purpose is not something you find. It is something you decide. Abraham Lincoln did not stumble into leadership. He chose a cause greater than himself and allowed it to refine him through failure, ridicule, and loss. Purpose gives pain a direction. Without it, suffering feels random. With it, punishment, suffering becomes training. Gratitude sharpens belief. An ungrateful mind is always focused on lack, and what you focus on expands. Gratitude is not passive acceptance, it is recognition of progress, of opportunity, of strength already proven. When you acknowledge what you have conquered, you reinforce the belief that you can conquer again. The mind that appreciates grows powerful because it sees abundance where others see obstacles. Adaptability is belief under pressure. The world will change. It always does. Those who cling to rigid thinking break under new conditions. Those who believe in their ability to learn, adjust, and evolve remain relevant. Resilience is not toughness alone. It is flexible strength. It is the refusal to let failure define identity. Failure is feedback, not a verdict. Learning is the discipline of belief expansion. A closed mind is a shrinking mind. Every book, every mentor, every experience is raw material for growth if the mind remains open. Andrew Carnegie built an empire not by knowing everything, but by surrounding himself with minds sharper than his own. Belief does not fear knowledge, it seeks it. And now, here is the truth most people avoid. You are always believing something. The question is whether it is serving you or sabotaging you. Every excuse is a belief. Every fear is a belief. Every bold move begins as a belief. You cannot escape belief, but you can command it. Decide today that your mind is no longer a battlefield controlled by outside forces. Decide that thoughts of weakness, doubt, and limitation are no longer welcome. Replace them deliberately, relentlessly, with thoughts aligned with strength, clarity, and purpose. This is not denial of reality. This is creation of a higher one. You become what you believe, inevitably, relentlessly, without exception. So believe with intention, believe with discipline, believe until your actions change, until your habits align, until your life reflects the authority of a mind finally under your control. Because the moment you master your thinking, you stop reacting to life and you begin commanding it. Because once the mind is disciplined, life stops feeling like something that happens to you and starts feeling like something that responds to you. You no longer wake up asking what the day will bring. You wake up knowing what you will demand from it. This is the quiet shift that separates those who merely exist from those who lead, create, and leave marks that time cannot erase. Understand this deeply. The subconscious mind does not argue. It does not debate. It accepts repetition as truth. Whatever you tell it consistently, through thought, emotion, and action, it accepts as instruction. Speak weakness into it, and it will construct a life that proves you right. Speak strength into it, and it will organize your world around that command. This is why idle thoughts are dangerous. This is why uncontrolled emotion is costly. You are always programming yourself. Most people sabotage themselves not with one great failure, but with small, repeated agreements, with doubt. They say, I'll try. They say, maybe one day. They say, I'm not ready yet. And the mind records these statements as identity. It hears hesitation and builds hesitation into character. The tragedy is that potential dies quietly, not in dramatic collapse, but in comfortable delay. Those who win understand urgency, not the frantic urgency of panic, but the focused urgency of purpose. They move when others wait. They act while others analyze. Not recklessly, but decisively. Decision is the true beginning of power. Napoleon Hill wrote that indecision is the seed of fear. The longer you hesitate, the stronger doubt becomes. Decide and fear weakens. Act and belief solidifies. Visualization is not fantasy. It is rehearsal. The mind does not distinguish sharply between what is vividly imagined and what is repeatedly experienced. When you see yourself winning, leading, achieving, the nervous system adapts. Confidence grows familiar. Action becomes natural. This is why champions visualize before they perform, why leaders see outcomes before they speak, why innovators imagine worlds before they build them. They live mentally in the future they intend to occupy physically. But vision without action is hallucination. The bridge between belief and reality is behavior. Every day you must ask yourself a hard question. Does what I am doing today reinforce the person I claim I want to become? If not, the belief is hollow. True belief expresses itself through consistent, sometimes uncomfortable action. It chooses effort over ease, growth over approval, long-term power over short-term comfort. Resistance will appear the moment you begin to change. Friends may misunderstand, old environments may reject you, the past will try to reclaim you. This is not a sign you are wrong, it is proof that you are evolving. When a snake sheds its skin, the old skin cannot go with it. Growth requires separation from habits, from identities, from versions of yourself that no longer longer serve the future you see. Do not confuse loneliness with failure. Many of history's great minds walked alone for long stretches. Lincoln faced ridicule. Edison endured thousands of failed experiments. Ford was told he was foolish more times than he was encouraged. Yet they persisted, not because approval was guaranteed, but because belief was anchored deeper than opinion. When belief is strong, criticism becomes background noise. Resilience is belief tested by time. Anyone can believe for a week. Mastery is believing through delay, through contradiction, through moments when evidence seems absent. This is where most quit, right before momentum shifts. The universe tests conviction by withholding immediate reward. Those who endure pass. Those who doubt retreat. Persistence is not stubbornness. It is loyalty to a vision you know is right. Gratitude, again, becomes essential here, not as politeness, but as strategy. Gratitude stabilizes belief during uncertainty. It reminds you that progress exists even when perfection does not. It keeps the mind expansive instead of contracted. A grateful mind notices opportunity faster because it expects value, not threat. As you grow, remain adaptable. Belief is not rigidity. It is confidence in your capacity to adjust without losing direction. The path may change. The goal does not. This is how empires last and individuals evolve. Learn continuously. Refine constantly. Arrogance kills growth faster than failure ever could. And finally, accept this responsibility without fear. No one is coming to rescue you from your own thinking. No system, no leader, no circumstance can override the beliefs you hold about yourself. This is not a burden. It is freedom, because it means the same force that limited you can now liberate you. From this moment forward, choose thoughts as if your life depends on them, because it does. Speak to yourself with authority. Act in alignment with your vision. Train your mind daily, patiently, relentlessly. You are not here to drift. You are here to direct. You become what you believe. So believe boldly. Believe deliberately. Believe until your life has no choice but to rise and meet the standard of the mind that commands it. If this message woke something inside you, don't ignore it. Subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment, committing to the life you're choosing now.